Chapter 6, Naomi E. This museum is the reason so many kids hate museums. It is so boring, but today it's also crowded and hot. Valerie's family doesn't have coats or sweaters, so they seem comfortable and happy while I sweat and lug around the sweatshirt Dad always makes me bring, like we might be attacked by a sudden cold front. "Have you seen Rahel?" Valerie asks me. "Who's Rahel?" I say. "Brianna's doll. Wait here, your dad and I are going to retrace our steps." So I stay where I am, looking at birds of New York, thinking of what I'd rather be doing, like hanging out with Annie. Homework. Maybe a dentist appointment, or a blood test. "Are you into birds or something?" the other Naomi asks in an unfriendly voice. "No, your mother said to wait here while they go find your sister's missing doll. At least it's not your sister missing, again." "She's little," the other Naomi says. "You probably lost stuff when you were little." I keep my eyes locked on a big ugly pigeon and its disgusting raw-looking feet. When I was too little for museums, my parents didn't bring me to them. She just stares at me like I called her whole family stupid. Maybe I did. "Okay, Naomi, Naomi," Valerie calls, motioning with her arm for us to follow. Brianna holds up her doll and waves it around. "We all have to go to the other side of the museum to see a certain boring thing because the other Naomi has to do homework about it, and when we finally get there to the whole reason she dragged Dad and me here, it's closed." Dad and Valerie, who are ahead of us, start walking back the other way, their eyes searching for a missing 4-year-old. "Again?" I say. I'm about ready to burst into tears by the time they get back with the wandering Brianna. And even though I bet the other Naomi is as annoyed as I am, she acts all, "We're sisters and you're not," on me again, taking Brianna's hand and loud whispering because she totally wants me to hear. "When I was little," she says, "I used to wish I could spend the night here, just like this book I read." That was the Met, I remind her, because everyone knows that. And then they keep on talking in that sister way to remind me that they're this pair and I have nothing to do with it, as if I'd ever want to. All I want is to leave this hot and crowded museum, and finally we do, but not until after we go to some secret coat room where Valerie and her whole family left their bags and sweatshirts and everything. It would have been nice of them to tell me I could leave my sweatshirt there on this boiling hot day. "Is that thunder?" Valerie asks Dad as she hands him a big bakery box. Brianna starts to cry. "Of course." "I don't think so," Dad says, even though I'm pretty sure it was. "Let's give it a try. Let's go to the park." The sky is not looking friendly, but Dad and Valerie are ignoring it. "Why don't we find a place to sit, and then we can have some snacks, maybe play some games," Valerie says. "The ice cream man is sometimes on the corner," Brianna tells me like she's older than me, or knows this park better than I do. "I know. I come here a lot," I say. I follow Valerie and my dad to a bench near a ratty-looking sandbox. Valerie starts unpacking water bottles, and Dad opens the big bakery box, and inside there are donuts. Well, all right then. "I brought checkers," Valerie says. "I know you like to play." "Yeah," the other Naomi says. "Aren't you some kind of checkers champ?" If I were Valerie, I'd tell the other Naomi to wipe that nasty right out of her voice. But why do they keep saying that? I don't really care about checkers. I play with my dad's friend Luffy sometimes, I guess, but I'm not a champ. Valerie looks like I hurt her feelings. Because I don't love checkers? Dad gives me a look that says something like, "Act like you want to be here," which is a lot like saying, "Lie, Naomi." "That was very thoughtful of you," Dad says to Valerie, even though he's staring right at me, making me think I was supposed to thank her for bringing some game I don't really want to play. Valerie passes the donuts around and we each take one. These are not regular donuts. They look really great and each one's different and, okay, yeah, my mouth is watering. I pick up one with a lot of white glaze on it, and when I bite into it, ugh, it's coconut. It didn't have the flakes or the smell. There was no way to know. I place it on the napkin Valerie gave me and leave it on my lap. "Did you bring chess too, or just checkers?" the other Naomi asks. "This set has both." Valerie hands her a big box to her Naomi. Why don't you win, Naomi? This one's missing the queen, Naomi says with a mean look at her sister, who may be burying her doll in the sandbox. It wasn't my fault, Brianna says. I was playing Princess Family with Rahel, and we needed a queen mother, and I couldn't find any other queen, and Naomi once showed me which one was the chess queen, and they don't look alike, but it was the only queen I could find. I'm about to ask the other Naomi if she wants to play checkers, mostly because I can't listen to that baby cry again, and maybe we could set up on another bench and get far away from all this and start over. But then the other Naomi says, You are not allowed to touch my chess pieces. And then sure enough, Brianna's crying, and my father looks at me, and I start to feel like it's my fault. I take the chess and checkers box and open it up, while Valerie's hugging Brianna's head, and the other Naomi is looking mean, and I sit on the grass and start to set up the checkerboard, really to have something to do, because this is super awkward. Who are you playing with? The other Naomi asks. I think I feel a raindrop fall as I set the last 2 red checkers on their black squares. You? I ask. She says, I don't play checkers. Maybe Brianna will. That's more the kind of game she plays. Which is a mean thing to say. And I'm about to tell her when the skies open and the rain comes down in a huge rushing gush of water, like it forgot it's supposed to be in drops. If the weather was trying to send us a message, that message would be, You all should not be trying to spend time together outdoors. Or, I might add, indoors either. Dad and Valerie make some weird motions at each other, pointing, shrugging, and then waving. And Valerie throws the big box of donuts away before she even notices I chose the wrong kind and want another one. And Brianna's crying, and that other Naomi keeps giving me the stink eye, like even the rain was all my fault.